At least 26 people were killed in Russian strikes across Ukraine on Tuesday, as President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned Moscow's utter cynicism. At least 12 people died in an airstrike on Zaporizhzhia, 5 civilians were killed in the center of Kramatorsk, 4 in Dnipro, and 5 more in Poltava. The attacks come as Moscow seeks a truce to stage its patriotic Victory Day parade on the 9th of May. Zelensky warned that the death toll could still rise, stating it is utter cynicism to request a ceasefire while carrying out missile and drone strikes every single day. Kiev has intensified its own retaliatory long-range strikes in the past fortnight with a drone attack on the Russian city of Cheboksary, reportedly killing 2 people and wounding 32. Ukraine's foreign minister denounced what he called criminal tactics after a double-tap strike killed 4 people in the Poltava region, including first responders who had arrived to help at the scene of an earlier attack. The Kremlin has claimed it will not strike Ukraine on the occasion of Victory Day on May 9, when it is set to stage a parade with no military hardware on display due to fears of Ukrainian strikes.
The United States Secretary of Defense warned on Wednesday that any attack on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz will be met with a, quote, devastating response. Pete Hegseth also added that regardless of this, the ceasefire with Iran still holds.
To what remains of Iran's forces, if you attack American troops or innocent commercial shipping, you will face overwhelming and devastating American firepower. The president has been very clear about this. We're not looking for a fight, but Iran also cannot be allowed to block innocent countries and their goods from an international waterway.
The warning from the Pentagon came on the second day of a U.S. effort to facilitate the transit of commercial ships through the waterway. The strait has been largely blocked by Iran since late February, when the U.S. and Israel launched its war against the Islamic Republic. Meanwhile, Iran has warned the U.S. against any further escalation in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has also vowed not to surrender control of the waterway.
France's political left called for unity at a rally in Paris on Tuesday night following the announcement of hard-left France Unbowed Party's leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon that he'll be running for the presidency in 2027. The move has sparked discontent among the country's more moderate leftists, who would rather someone less polarizing than the 74-year-old French politics veteran. Lawmakers from the leftist Green Party, the Socialists, and the After Party have cast doubt over his chances of winning, given his track record in his 3 prior attempts in 2012, 2017, and 2022. Mélenchon has failed to reach a runoff vote in all 3, but believes his chances this time round are far higher. His biggest challenge will be against the far-right National Rally, who've been gaining popularity over the years across France's mainstream. Speaking to local media, Mélenchon called for a common front with Spain against the war being waged by the US and Iran and against Israel in the Middle East. He also warned that Europe is threatened by widespread war and a looming economic and social crisis, which he has previously blamed on capitalism. Mélenchon expressed confidence in his party's ability to win, saying, quote, "I think we're going to beat them, hands down." The National Rally's candidate will either be embattled 57-year-old Marine Le Pen, widely regarded as the face of right-wing politics in the country, or her lieutenant 30-year-old party leader Jordan Bardella. Their candidate will be selected after a decision is taken by an appeals court in July on Le Pen's eligibility after she was handed a political ban over her party's misuse of EU funds. France's left say they want to create a, quote, real union excluding France Unbowed and hold a primary to decide on their candidate.
7 months after the accident involving the Gloria elevator in Lisbon, which resulted in the deaths of 16 people, the Gracia funicular is back in operations. The reopening comes after repairs were carried out under supervision by Lisbon City Council, following the derailment and suspension of the funicular's operations.
A Carris, durante estes meses de encerramento, fez todos os testes possíveis. O IMT certificou o funicular e é perfeitamente seguro. Sempre foi seguro ao longo dos últimos 100 anos. Infelizmente, um acidente catastrófico parou todos os funiculares e ascensores da cidade, mas acredito que será seguro.
Eu tinha ruteiro que fazia Labra, Glória e Vica, e lamentavelmente ficou muito afetado com o acidente, mas que agora, graças à certificação que faz o governo e a Câmara, voltaram em segurança.
The closure of the funicular, one of Lisbon's most important transport systems, caused inconvenience for users.
O funicular era aquilo que eu usava mais desde que comecei a trabalhar aqui.
Uma cidade das 7 colinas precisa de ascensores funiculares, de escadas mecânicas, de outros elevadores para a mobilidade das pessoas.
São meios de transporte que têm mais de 100 anos, por lo tanto, há muitas histórias que se misturam cada dia e que isto volta a acontecer. É uma graça, como o barro, muito importante e nós gostamos muito.
The funicular connects Muraria to Grassa and was inaugurated in 2024, 15 years after construction began. With a capacity to carry up to 14 passengers per trip, it completes the journey in approximately 1.5 minutes.
Farmers in Cyprus are threatening protests due to measures taken in response to the outbreak of foot and mouth disease in February. The newly formed Cyprus Livestock Association said it is ready to take strong action even if financial aid is approved, unless authorities reconsider their aggressive strategy of containing the epidemic. The association argued that European rules also allow for alternative approaches to managing the crisis. A government spokesperson, however, insisted that the response must strictly follow EU veterinary protocols and cannot be subject to political pressure. The measures are based on stamping out of infected and in-contact herds. EU control measures require the rapid eradication of the virus through the immediate stamping out of infected establishments. As a result, control measures may also apply to animals that appear healthy or for which test results may not yet be available in order to prevent further spread of the disease. The outbreak has so far led to the culling of more than 38,000 sheep and goats, more than 2,000 cattle and 21,500 pigs.
A new patient arrives at the hospital, a rather unusual patient since it is a wild animal, a very young female fox found alone without its mother.
Cette femme a un tout petit renard qui doit avoir 2 semaines, qui a été trouvé dans le jardin d'une dame.
Taken in by the teams at the Wildlife Hospital on the grounds of the National Veterinary School, the young fox is being examined.
Elle n'est pas en hypothermie, elle n'est pas déshydratée, donc elle est relativement stable quand même. Et voilà.
Last year, more than 10,400 wild animals were treated here, including many European mammals such as foxes, deers and hedgehogs. The animals often arrive young between April and September after their birth. The caretaker's goal to prepare them for return to the wild.
Une fois qu'ils auront atteint un poids qu'on estime convenable, ils seront transférés dans le centre de réhabilitation jusqu'à ce qu'ils soient vraiment assez grands pour passer dans un enclos de relâché progressif.
Non-invasive species are not released. Between 60 and 80% of the animals that arrive here are victims of human activities such as road collisions.
Donc dans un sens, on a une responsabilité à aussi prendre en charge ces animaux qui se retrouvent ici dans la majorité des cas à cause de nous. Donc de leur offrir une seconde chance, un espace de soins.
The veterinary hospital is managed by the Faune Alpha Association, which was founded nearly 40 years ago. It primarily operates thanks to donations and the work of volunteers.
Arad is one of the most important figures in contemporary design who has never stopped experimenting with form, materials and their functionality. The solo exhibition Arad 1992-2026 at the Opera Gallery in Monaco spans 35 years of the creative journey of the 75-year-old British-Israeli artist through a series of his iconic works.
I have a studio and It's like a progressive kindergarten. You know, I mean, it is driven by curiosity, and we are very privileged that, you know, we can try everything that we want, and it's from very little things, from jewelry to skyscrapers. You know, we designed tall building, designed a hospital, a museum, and small objects, and there's no need to define exactly what we do. We do things that we are interested in, and lucky other people are interested in what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to survive. And the key element is things that I'm excited to explore, to sketch, to talk about, to model, to develop, to build, and to see, like here in this exhibition, there are pieces that I made 30 years ago or more.
Known for his radical approach, Arad challenges the boundaries between art, architecture, and industrial design.
You know, to design or to make art is always a symbiosis between the will of the artist, the process, and what the materials will let you do and what happens. There's no bad materials and there's no bad colors. They're all good, depends what you do with them. People always ask you, where do you get ideas from? Ideas are the easiest thing in the world. There's no shortage of ideas. The difficulty is to know which ideas you give your time to, which ideas you invest in, and which ideas you just let go.
The exhibition run around 1992-2026 at the Opera Gallery in Monaco is presented as part of the Principality's Art Week and runs until May 28th.